Just gonna move this here a bit to the background.
Should I keep this out of the frame or does it matter? We've been traveling so much. It's like just getting to the airport in New York is like a whole thing. And it's like New York, we went to Stockholm, we stayed there last night, and then the train ride here, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
In the snow.
Yeah.
It's so pretty today.
Yeah, so first I want you to tell me a little bit about the film.
Sure. I mean, we originally come from the music industry. We don't come from any kind of film background. So when we first stumbled upon this story and stumbled upon Broder Daniel and Henrik, it was such a bizarre story at first. We were like, what do you do with this? How do you tell this story and really tell it the right way and really capture this whole world? So that's kind of how we fell into filmmaking. It lended itself to be a film. It had to be told visually and with audio and all of that stuff. So what we really set out to do was to make the music documentary that we wanted to see, basically, because we felt that so many music documentaries are made by filmmakers or people who, are musicians or don't really have that kind of experience and relationships with musicians. And we, through our careers, all of our close friends are musicians, and we work with musicians in such an intimate capacity. So we really wanted to make a film that illuminated the actual experience of being an artist, what that person goes through, to really juxtapose the personal and the public. So we tell the story basically of Henrik's life. The film is about Broder Daniel, but so much of Henrik is Broder Daniel. So in order to understand Broder Daniel, you have to understand who Henrik is, and then all of the other people who have been affected by his music.
So why did you want to make a documentary of Broder Daniel and not any other band? Like, no one outside Sweden don't know about Broder Daniel, and most people in Sweden doesn't know about Broder Daniel almost.
Right. Well, that's part of it to begin with. We couldn't believe that we had never heard of Broder Daniel before, given that the music that Henrik was making and the time period he was making it in was so exactly on point with what was going on in the U.S. Also, he sings in English. It was so shocking to us, coming from the music industry and having grown up with, MP3s, access to everything from all over the world our entire lives, that we had never heard about this before.
And that's how we entered it. We were interested in from a music nerd point of view, oh cool, we found something that makes all these other things make sense that we're fans of. And then when we saw how devoted the fans were, that was really what made us interested in understanding what it was, more so than just I want to make a movie about a band and they're cool or they're good or they're bad. It was more us trying to understand what it was and why it means so much to these people, and it was a mystery to us. Yeah. And that's a really fun way to enter a documentary.
Yeah, and the film for us is not even, it's not in us making an argument that Broder Daniel is the best band in the world or Broder Daniel is the best band you've never heard of, which is I think what so many documentaries that do deal with an artist or musician or a band that people haven't heard of, they often take that approach to it. For us, what we really wanted to figure out was what was going on here. What is Broder Daniel's music? What is it about Henrik that has affected so many people in such a profound way and continues to, even after the band has ended?
Did you learn anything during the recording of the film? Because I know by fact that you can't make a movie without struggling with the techniques. And
about what did we learn about filmmaking? Yeah. We learned everything about filmmaking. We knew nothing about filmmaking at all. When we say first-time filmmakers, I'm not talking about I've been a PA or I've interned with films. We had zero. We don't even really watch movies that much.
Yeah, we're music
so
people.
We were starting from really square one, which I think was a really refreshing and good way to do it, because we weren't kind of struggling against preconceptions or influences that were we were copying or anything like that. We were really just kind of figuring out as we went along,
we literally
what do we need
started
to do?
by Googling what is a DP?
Yeah, like how
no
to make a
idea.
documentary.
Yes.
So yeah, we learned everything while making the film. But I think what was really interesting about the process was that we're at a time right now, I think, with technology where filmmaking is a lot easier to do for the average person. It doesn't cost as much money. You can get really beautiful cameras that you don't need that much light and things like that. So I think we kind of hit at this really perfect pivotal moment in filmmaking where you don't need the big studios anymore as much. So I feel like we're kind of on the front lines of that. So kind of like learning and innovating as we go.
At your next project, will you do another documentary about an old Swedish band? What will that be?
I think we're good on Sweden for the moment.
We'll leave you guys alone. For
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah, we could use our space, but yeah, we definitely have other projects in mind. We have totally fallen in love with filmmaking. We've been storytellers our entire lives. Amelia comes from a PR background, and I come from like an editorial writing background. So our background is in writing, and we've got some ideas for a couple of narrative films. We've got some other documentary ideas, but yeah, I think Sweden could use a break from us for a little while.
If you could say one sentence that can inspire a filmmaker to do whatever she or he wants to do, what could that sentence be?
You have to just do it.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's like, just do it and figure it out in like any way.
Yeah.
Any way that like you can get it done. There's like really no rules. That's what we learn in making movies. Especially documentaries. There are no rules. You do whatever you have to do.
Yeah, there's no right way to do it. And I think also a big thing that we kind of had going for us is we had a really clear idea of what we wanted to do from the beginning. Even though, you know, starting on the project, there was so much we didn't know about Broder Daniel, there was so much we didn't know about Sweden and the culture and all these different things. Even though we didn't know the details, we had a really, really clear vision. And I think it's really important to come up with that clear vision and be really confident in it and really stick to that, because I think a lot of times, especially when you're young or a new filmmaker, you look to people who are older and have more experience than you, thinking that they can kind of mentor you or guide you in the right way, and they might not fully understand the vision that you are trying to create. So just being really confident in your choices and in your vision, and, you know, accepting feedback and criticism, but also staying true to what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, I guess that you made very much research about Broder Daniel before making the film, and listen to some songs, perhaps.
Yes.
What is your favorite song?
It changes for me a lot. I'm really into Saturday Night Engine, the album right now. I'm really into...
We love that album.
Yeah, it's like
our favorite album.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm really into Luke Skywalker right now, actually.
I'm really into What's Good right now.
Oh, yeah.
We did this thing where we slowed it all down. We slowed down all the Broder Daniel music, like Witch House remixes.
Yeah.
You really hear the melodies when you do that.
You're from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest cities in the US.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference of the US and Sweden?
Man. I think that what I've noticed is that the US is so big, and it varies so much from state to state, from city to city. You can any type of person who wants to live really any type of lifestyle can find a place where they can live that lifestyle. And I think that allows people to be a little bit more, take a little bit more risks, because if you fuck up, you can just go somewhere else and start again. And I think in Sweden there's a lot more pressure. Yeah.
On the individuals.
Right.
And it's different.
Yeah.
It was different.
The film industry is mostly dominated by men. Have that been an issue for you during the recording of this film? Or
to be honest, we ran into a lot of issues making the film, and I think, you know, some people have asked that question: is it because you're women? Is it because you're young? Is it because you're first-time filmmakers? I really don't know the answer to that. And to be honest, some of the issues we've ran into were with women. So I don't know that I can specifically say that it's because we're women. I think also, you know, we're outsiders, and we're Americans in the sense that we're like pretty aggressive and like pretty loud and all that stuff. Yeah, I think it's more, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because we're women.
We don't even notice those things, though. We don't pay attention to those things. Like, I don't feel like I'm any less for being a woman, so if someone's treating me incorrectly, like, they're incorrect.
Yeah.
They're incorrect. It's, like, not to do with me being a woman or them being a man. Like, you're incorrect to, like...
Yeah. I don't
have
even...
a problem with someone's gender is, like, totally insane, and I feel like millennial generation just, like, totally understands that, like, inherently, and, like, I think that if people feel discriminated against, they should just totally ignore it because it's totally unacceptable, and you shouldn't take it personally.
I think that people sometimes get hung up on getting ahead of themselves and identifying things that might be reasons why people wouldn't, you know, have confidence in them or support them or things like that. But I feel like we almost have a blind spot in that sense where it's
that
like,
person's problem.
Right. And so it's like, if you have a problem with me being a woman, I'm going to act like I have no idea what you're talking about because, like, I don't see myself as, like, being marginalized because I'm a woman in this dynamic. Like, I have confidence in what I'm doing, and if you don't, if you're trying to undermine me or undermine my credibility because I'm a woman, I'm just going to bulldoze you.
Thank you. That was all the questions I had.
Great.
Cool.
Awesome.